whatever it is that you want to do, you must do it in front of us first. So it's not that you go hide and do something in the back and then somebody comes and tells us. We don't want to get into a situation like that. So what you can't do with your parents, you need not do at all. So from that perspective, my first drink, my first cigarette, my first everything was all at home.
So what were those things of the childhood which you think actually shaped your personality and character? So in those days, I keep hearing that parents used to have an aspiration that my child should become either a doctor or engineer, right? And
Yeah,
in UP and Bihar, it was another thing which was like IAS officer, right?
absolutely.
So what about your parents? But you said that you in your life did not like the word no. So this time you basically took that no in a positive sense, right? Now, if we go back to your corporate life, did you had any mentors or coaches who helped you at that point of time? Prasanna Prabhuji, welcome to Marichi Talks.
Hi, thanks for having me.
And in this talk show, we basically try to learn from experience of others because we believe that there are two ways of learning. One is you learn from your own experience, and second is you learn from experience of others. And we believe that the people who have overachieved in their personal or professional lives, they have learned from experiences of others on top of what they have learned from your own from their own experiences.
Absolutely.
So maybe Prasanna ji, we will start from your childhood because I read somewhere that the childhood experiences they basically shape the personality and character. So just want to hear a little bit about your childhood, how you were in academics, were you brilliant, mediocre, or backbencher? No.
Don't take me back there. So I had a very privileged childhood. I must say that we had abundance of everything. We had a very, very nice family, decent money, had all the luxuries and comforts and security. More importantly, we were very secure. I had a brother and I have a sister and my mom and dad. So it was a very nice, cozy, warm. Uh, uh, Upbringing, I must say. And also, very importantly, the way my mom and dad brought us up was like, whatever it is that you want to do, you must do it in front of us first. So it's not that you go hide and do something in the back and then somebody comes and tells us. We don't want to get into a situation like that. Whatever it is that you want to do it here with us. So what you can't do with your parents, you need not do at all. So, so from that perspective, my first drink, my first cigarette, my first everything was all at home. So, and that is the kind of, I mean, just try to give you a little bit of understanding of how it was then. So it was nothing that we couldn't do as long as we did it at home. You know. So yeah, that is how my childhood has been. I mean, not the best when it came to academics. I mean, I would study hard, but I would just somehow scrape through and like I remember, I remember once. You know what? I don't know what it was. My teachers used to love me, right? But my scores would never really give a reason for them to love me. So I used to be in an ICSE school. We used to have some 13, 14 subjects with geography. In geography, we used to have topography, and then we used to have English. English, we used to have. In my days, I think we had what was it? Shakespeare. We had uh, something I don't remember now. Shakespeare, and then we had Skylark, and oh my goodness me, it was so much overdose. But the teachers used to love me. So now in the 13 subjects, I remember once I had like flunked in the few class exams that we have in 6 subjects of the 13, 14, right? So, so the next time when we went to get the report card, the next term within the year itself, not in the finals, I never flunked, but it's in the intermediate that I would flunk. And then in the next time when we had to go to collect my report, I had failed only in 3 subjects, not 6. So when my when my mom went to the teacher to for the report day or whatever it's called, and my teacher, the loving teacher that she is of mine, she told my mom, "Your son has improved so much." So my mom thought maybe I got a distinction or something. She said, "No, this time he's only failed in 3 subjects." So academics was not really my thing in the sense that it was okay, it was fun, and I mean I used to be sharp, but when it came to studies, not so much. So somehow I pretty much scraped through. I'm from Bombay and I was from Midway College, and I somehow got out of there. But that was not really my calling, if I may say so. And so that was how my sort of childhood was. And then I had friends from all over. We would do all the weirdest and the funnest things ever. But like I said, academics was not so much my calling.
So, what was so special about you, Prasannaji, that your teachers still love? Because I remember my school days, no, if we were not doing great, there used to be punishment. No?
Oh, no, no, no. My teachers used to just love me to bits. So they would, I still remember one of my teachers in my first, like third, fourth standard, she would punish us, and then she would feel so bad, and then she would give us biscuits, and then she would give us chocolates, and then she would give us ice cream. So we used to love when we were punished. I don't know what it is. I don't know. We were fun people. I have no clue, man. At that age, I have no clue. The teachers used to just be very, very fond of me.
Right,
And
right.
like I said, not for my academics, for sure.
So what were the other things because of which teachers got attracted
I
towards
don't
you?
know. Maybe it's that I was fun. I was always alive and available, except to studies. I was good in sport. I used to play badminton. I used to play cricket. I used to be playing all the time. You know, in our when I was younger, there was not so much to do. You know, we used to just want to get out of the house and do things. Now I see my daughter and the other younger kids to send them out to play is a big thing. You know, you have to get them
Right.
off their gadgets, off their TV or whatever else. So in my days, you know, it's not like that. The minute you'd get 5 minutes, whoop, gone. Where? We're playing cricket, breaking somebody's glasses somewhere. So, you know, really, we used to be quite an aggressive lot. We used to, and in Bombay, we don't have these big grounds or something. We used to play on roads. So we've broken so many windows. It's not funny. And the people whose houses windows we used to break, I don't know what it is. They used to love us also. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's a secure background, a secure upbringing. Love was there. A lot of love was there.
So what were those things of the childhood which you think actually shaped your personality and character?
My mom and dad, I would say, like my dad, always he would say, next time do better. You know that. And my mom, of course, for other than studies, she she was like a rock for me. She would really be my support, except when it came to if I didn't study, because for her, her whole thing is that she had studied only till the fourth or the fifth, and she didn't study because not because she didn't want to study, but because she didn't have the opportunity to study. You know, that generation came from so much that in that sense financial lack and all of that. Now that you have all of this, make most of it was her thought. And but other than for studies, she's never really been hard on me at all. And I think this safe, secure backdrop that I always had in my family is what made me very, very confident. Even like to the extent of saying I only failed in three. Not many kids have the courage to say that, right? I mean, I only failed in 3 subjects. Sounds like a like a brat, right? But that's the point I'm making. We were very confident. We were never shy of. When I say shy, I don't mean shy, but we were never really shying away from doing anything. Anything thrown at us, would be like willing to do what we have to do. So yeah, so that I think was where it all came from.
So in those days, I keep hearing that parents used to have an aspiration that my child should become either a doctor or engineer, right? And
Yeah, yeah,
in UP and Bihar, it was another thing which was like IAS officer, right?
absolutely.
So what about your parents? Did
Same. Like for example, but it was never a pressure on me. They never lived. She just wanted me to study. Period. It was
Hmm.
not about she trying to live her unfulfilled desires through me. It was not so heavy on me. Like, for example, I still remember when I was going to get a seat in the engineering. Um, um, so this guy or whatever, that college or university, I don't know, wherever it is that I was going to go, they asked for money. And I said, there is no way that I'm going to pay money and go and do my engineering. So my dad said, yeah, that's a very good point. I agree with you. That's it. So then I did BSc. So I didn't want to anyway. I didn't want to study, and then and pay and study. As in pay like a donation, a bribe and study. I said I'm not going to do it. I don't know what it was. It's just something within me said I will not pay and study. And my mom and dad backed me up to the hilt. So they wanted me to do everything, but I was more important than what they wanted me to do for them.
Right, right. That's quite interesting. So
Hmm.
you, after completing your graduation, you basically started looking for a job. So you got
Yeah.
your first job by accident, or was it like a very thought through process?
Full accident. I had nothing to do with media, the line that I eventually got into. So there was this girlfriend of mine, and she said that there is this place that they've called me for, and I don't think you should go, is what she thought. She said. And I went for the interview, and yeah, they said, "Start, join from tomorrow." It was that simple. And what was the job? It was at that point in time, that company used to sell Bold and the Beautiful. There was a program that comes on television, Santa Barbara, Dekh by Dekh, Zaban Samal Ke, all of these mind-boggling television serials. So my job was to sell to clients, to brands, ads to be put on these programs, which would be telecast on Doordarshan and other television channels like Star and all of those at those times. So
Right, right.
this is what my first job.
So you worked with the same company before you moved to Art of Living, or you switched
No,
organizations?
not at all. So that company was named Primetime Media Services, which would do this. And I used to sell a program called Dekh by Dekh. And Dekh by Dekh was produced by Jaya Bachchan, Amitabh Bachchan's wife, and directed by a gentleman called Anand Mahendru. And they, I think, saw that there was this young kid, like a, what is it called? Storm in a teacup, kind of a guy, boy all over the place. And never, in those days at least, I was very, very, very aggressive. There's no, I couldn't handle a no. So somebody said, no, you can't do this, then we would do it. You know, बड़ा अलग ही एक फितूर था उस जमाने में. So that energy we used to sell. We used to bill about 1 crore a week in those days. This is about 30 years ago on Dekh by Dekh. So yeah, so that looked exciting, and then she took me there in the company called Saraswati Audiovisuals, and I worked with Jaya Bachchan ji's team. So we used to
Okay.
call it JB, fondly JB. JB's team is what I worked with. And there I started selling Dekh by Dekh. And then slowly we started doing Amitabh Bachchan's films I started buying, which means the films that he acted in, which was produced by producers, which was owned by producers. I started buying those television rights of those to be put on Doordarshan and then to be sold. So we started Day by Day, then I did Friday feature film, then Saturday feature film, then we went on to do, we went on because then Saraswati Audiovisual, the company, eventually became ABCL, Amitabh Bachchan Limited. And then we went on to do Chitrahar, Rangoli, in incredible amount of work. It's unbelievable. When I look back at it, it's nothing but a dream. I was all of 24 or 25 and aggressively doing things that I don't frankly know. When I look back now, I didn't even know the gravity of what I was doing. But like more than 150 crores we were billing. And in those days, I'm talking, this is not a small thing. Today, 150 crores is big. 30 years ago, it was huge. So we just one went to the other and we just kept growing and selling and selling and selling and selling was like a hardcore because the beauty or the downside, you may call it whatever, that every episode had to be filled with an X number of seconds. So when it goes up on air, if it doesn't have the secondage that it can have, then it lapses. Every week was a target and every week was pressure. very pressure oriented kind of space that one would live in when we used to do that kind of selling. Yeah, it
So
was
so
fun
now
though.
so now your life has taken like a U-turn, right? From all Chitrahar, Rangoli, and all those music and dance and comedy serials
And
to
by the way, we used
this.
to do Miss World and Miss Universe also.
Wow.
ABCL did the Miss World, which they produced. Of course, it didn't work out so well, but before that and after that, I did it myself personally. So in the sense that after that, I bought the rights to Miss World and to a few Miss Universes. In fact, the one that Diana Hayden won, the one that, oh wow, now you're talking about, I'm going back. So Diana Hayden won, and I think another Yukta Mukhi won. These few of those I had done televised them myself.
Oh, wow.
I put them on Doordarshan, and wow, it was good fun. Those days were big. Even
So,
television was a little nascent, in those days. It was not
right.
as mature as it is today with so many thousands of channels. There was Doordarshan and there were a few others, Star and a little Z here and a little there. But it was very nascent stages. Whatever we did was pretty much in those days shaping the television industry, I would say.
Right. So now you moved from all that Miss World, Miss Universe, Chitrahar, Rangoli, song, and comedy to art of living, right? And here also you started as a volunteer, as a teacher, and then moved up and up and up, and now you are the chairman, right, for the India unit. So
Yes.
just wondering that what did you enjoy more? Was it that initial job of marketing and working with all these celebrities, or is it the current job, or is it both?
So I don't see it that way. I don't really look at it as then and now. At that point in time, that was beautiful. I must say that. And at this point in time, this is far more fulfilling. So I wouldn't say that that was not so good and this is great, or that was good and this is not so good. I won't do comparison. At various different points of time in a human being's life, different things take priority. Like as a
Mhm.
child, for you, that bicycle that you ride is priority, but as you grow older, the bicycle doesn't remain such a priority. You move on to other things. So it's more about maturing, is the way I see it. And I don't personally think, in my case, I can't speak for others. I never planned any of this ever. Not my first job, not my anything that I've done. I have not planned anything. It has only happened to me, and it happens to everybody. Some people realize it, some people think they did it, and then eventually become miserable. But I think it happened, and even Guruji happened to me, and very beautifully happened to me, because I still remember when I used to work, have dealings with Doordarshan. I used to go and meet some officers. Now, in those days, my stress levels were so high. I used to smoke 60 cigarettes a day. My blood pressure was through the roof. It had gone to some 220, 140. So the doctors thought I should be like, when they saw me and checked me, they thought I should be in coma. They did every possible test on me, aortogram, and I don't know, whatever I can't even remember those names now. And eventually told me that it's hereditary, and they left me to my my plight. And in those days, there was this one secretary to one of the DDGs of Doordarshan who was into art of living, and his life was totally transformed. And he was seeing me fretting, fuming, smoking 60 cigarettes a day. On the fifth floor of Doordarshan, there were these huge pots in which there were trees, and all the pots would have stubs of white Marlboro lights. And he would keep coming to me and say, "मर जाएगा एक दिन यार." बोला मरना तो तू भी मरेगा भाई. So the conversation we used to have. But to the point that one then he said is that if you don't do the Art of Living program, I won't let you give you an appointment to meet my boss. And that was like serious stuff for me at that point, right? So I said, "ठीक है भाई कर लूंगा." Then I did the program, and from then on, it's been for me fast tracked. I did the program. My blood pressure came back to 120/80 for the first time in the longest. However, that is not what impressed me terribly. I mean, that was okay. It was good and it felt better, and I was feeling healthy. But the very next week, I met Guruji. This was in Rishikesh, and that's the experience that I can't forget, because for me, it was like I am not meeting him for the first time. I've met him and I know him, and the day I met him, I knew that this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. It was not. It was not a process. It was a moment. That one moment, I knew that this is what I would like to do for the rest of my life. And
So,
of
so I
course,
think, so I think this is a good news for smokers because a lot of people do not try Sudarshan Kriya, right? Even if they smoke 1/10 of your cigarette every day, right?
Sarvesh, just imagine the if you go out on the road and there is smoke, what do? You run away from it and come and hide in your house or hide in your car and put the window up. Normally, put the AC on. That's what you would do. But just imagine a educated, sane, uh, um, uh, rich, affluent person buys a pack of cigarette, lights it, and puts smoke into his system. I mean, this is the height of stupidity, isn't it? That is, and by the way, stopping that becomes difficult, but having it gives you doesn't give you pleasure.
Right.
Just imagine, you know,
That,
having that smoke or fag doesn't give you any great pleasure, but not having it gives you so much pain, and that is why people are not able to let go of it. And therefore, I believe it's the power of the mind. Mind becomes very important. You have to just at one point in time and say, this is it. Either I choose my life or I choose this. It's the path that one needs to choose.
right. But so many people they try to leave cigarettes. No, I know several of my friends who started in college just as sort of fashion symbol, right? And then they
Yeah.
got addicted to it. Even they don't smoke like 60, but for them also it's a nightmare if they stop it and they have withdrawal symptoms and all that. So how did you manage from one extreme, which is 60
Thing.
cigarettes,
Just
to
one
another
day.
extreme? No?
Just one day. I was told no smoking. I said I won't smoke. And I remember that moment also. I had a brand new pack of Marlboro Lights. 20 का pack होता है बड़ा महंगा होता था उस दिनों में भी. So I just said no smoking. I crushed it. I threw it, and that's that. And since then I haven't touched it.
So this was after how many years you were in art of
Smoke.
living?
No, no,
Yeah.
no, 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 no. No, the first day of the program, they said no smoking and no whatever, no meat and whatever else. So I came out, I crushed the pack and threw it in the dustbin, and that's it.
But you said that you in your life did not like the word no. So this time you basically took that no in a positive sense, right?
Absolutely. See, for me, always as a kid, also, I don't know what it is. If I say that, oh, you can't stop smoking. For me, it's a challenge. I'll say, no, I won't smoke. For example, I still remember somebody says, too much drinking tea, too much is not good. So I said, okay, I stopped tea from today, and I started coffee.
Oh wow.
So it just takes me one a moment to decide that I won't do it, and that's that. I think everybody has, all of us have that willpower. We choose to use it or choose not to, or don't choose not to recognize it, is the way I see it. Because
Right.
what's the deal, yaar? You're not a slave now of a fag or a cup of tea. कुछ नहीं है, बंद कर सकता है बंदा. You have to have that willpower. What if tomorrow he says if you have another smoke, you'll have a heart attack? What happens then? You stop, na? Miserably,
Right.
sahi. So why do we have to let it go to that point? So dump it before that. That's all.
That's quite interesting. So now if we go back to your corporate life, did you had any mentors or coaches who helped you at that point of time?
I don't know. I learned from everyone. Because for me, when I got into this space of this media and selling time and all that, I never ever known of something like that. But as a
Mhm.
kid, I used to love to see the ads, but I never knew what went behind all of that televising that happens and all of that. So for every person that I saw, I used to learn. Every meeting that I went to, I learned. Every new thing I learned, I used in the next meeting. In fact, I do that today also. So Sarvesh, if I'm talking to you now, you say something nicely, no, I'm like one big time chore that way. So I will also make a note of that. I use it in my next presentation. Why not? This is knowledge.
Right.
Everything, because you have learned for 30 odd number of years, you've been doing what you're doing, and you've acquired something. Like you opened by saying you learn from others what others do. Normally, it is good to learn from others' mistakes, but it's also good to learn from others' experiences of or whatever. So you say something, I use that, I add that to my life, and I make my life bigger, fuller, and move on. So hopefully, everybody does that. So this is what happened to me when I first got into this. I used to be like one child looking, what now, what next, how. In those days, you used to have a facsimal, no? So we used to write to all the agencies, HTA, ONM, Lintas. On top of that, we'll write, for example, Survey Singh, Lintas. You'll go through the fax. It'll come out. Then this girl would, now she has to send another one. She would not waste the paper and tear it and make another one. So what she would do, she would put white. There used to be white marker in those days. So you should put that white eraser and write the other name on top and fax it again. I said, wow, this is really cool. So with one sheet, we used to send it to 20, 30, 40 clients. Imagine the amount of paper she saved. So for everything for me was like a learning. It was interesting learning. And what I figured is that when I used to go with my seniors to who were selling, there used to be one guy called Ram. There's another guy called Krishna. These are all, I mean, Ram Krishna hai, but actually like, these are not fictitious names. So one guy called Ram and another guy was Krishna. And they used to go and sell to these big clients, and I used to go tag along with them. And every moment for me was like a big learning, how to present, how to talk, voice modulation, how not to do, what not to do, to be on time, all of that and more. So I think for me, every one of these things I've learned every moment, and I'm still learning.
So is it? I think it's your learning which helped you in corporate life because you got to work with so many celebrities, as you mentioned. And then I was looking at your website, Vyakti Vikas Kendra India, right? And it
Mm-hmm.
has so many achievements. So if I read, it says 84,000 children educated in free schools, 70 rivers, streams, and other water bodies being rejuvenated. Right? People are not able to do even one, but you guys are doing like 70. 2.2 million farmers trained in natural farming, 245,000 rural youth groomed for leadership, 310,000 individuals trained in diverse skills via skill development initiative, and 81 million trees planted across India. So, how did you manage this without planning? Because you said that you do not plan for anything, but
See,
these
the
achievements.
I can't take credit for any of this. I am just happened to be in the right place at the right time. Gurudev has, over the last 42 years, created an organization which, according to me, has no parallel. Something that he began from scratch. It was not something that he inherited. The place that I'm doing this discussion with you from today in Bangalore, 42 years ago, was nothing but rock and snake. Nobody, people, when Gurudev told people that this is where I'm going to do my ashram, my international center, everybody literally laughed at him. He's saying, what can you do here? There is nothing here. And today, if you come and see, it's the greenest, most bustling place in all of Bangalore. This happened because he had the ability to inspire people, and he has brought together people today now from more than 182 countries over the last 42 years. I mean, it is not easy to communicate a simple thing to your own family member and make them understand it. Of course, you can communicate, but they will not understand it the way you want them. Communication is not the easiest thing because we rely so much on words, we rely so much on language, but the way Gurudev is connecting, if you see how Gurudev connects, it is not through words, it is not through language, it is through silence, it's through presence. So that he has brought people from all walks of life. There are lakhs and lakhs of people who have come here and done seva and given inputs and contributed. Today, this place is like paradise. I mean, I live in a resort. I live in a resort, 350 acres, which has a water body, which has the most exotic trees, most beautiful flowers. We have more than 500 different types of butterflies. We have fountains. All this is created by volunteers. And volunteerism is, I think, the most important thing that we must cultivate. The through our entire life, we've learned to take and learn to take more, but very rarely do we focus on giving. And the most mature sense of uh, uh, achievement is not in taking, it's in giving. Like if your grandmother is there and you go She will not say, Sarvesh, what have you brought for me? A
Mm.
grandmother will always say, come, come, let me feed you. Have
Right,
you
right.
eaten? Have you slept? Have you, you know what I mean, right? That is true, mature sense of achievement, wanting to give, wanting to.
Mm.
That's what Guruji. That is what really blew my mind when I met Guruji in the initial days. He everybody would come to him, and the only thing that he would ask is, "How are you? Are you happy? Have you eaten? And what can I do for you?" Only thing of giving,
Right, right.
unfathomable. By the way, in this whole process of having given, the whole world is at his doorstep now. Not because he asked,
Right,
only
right.
because he gave, only because he cared, only because he wanted to share what this beautiful knowledge that he has. You know about that. He went into 10 days of silence about 82, 1980, 81, whatever, 42, 43 years ago. And when he came out of those 10 days of silence, a beautiful technique emerged. It was called the Sudarshan Kriya. And it is a breathing technique, which when you do, you find that you blow all the stress out of your system, and then it brings you back to your natural self. It is
Right,
like
right.
literally rebooting a system. And when you are your natural self, you'll find that you're most productive and beautiful. It is when we try to be what we are not, that's when you find ugliness creeping in.
Right, right,
So
right.
being natural, being yourself, that's the beauty. And that's why you see children, whether they are from Africa, whether they are from Tanzania, whether they are from South America, from Russia, Mongolia, any child you see, you will automatically be drawn to it.
Mm.
It is not about the fair, it is not about the weight, the height, the looks, the hair, the eyes. No. Why? It's because they are so pure and they're so natural that by default you'll get pulled to them.
Right, right, right.
And that is what happens when we live our lives with experiences with people, sometimes good, sometimes not so good. These experiences have an impact on us. That impact then shapes the way we think and see and perceive. And then sometimes you'll find that you look at the whole world only through the experiences that you've gone through.
Mm.
There's a beautiful scenery, but because of all the not such good things that have happened to you, you'll see, oh my God, look at that dark patch there. Somebody has spilled some food there. When the whole beautiful scenery is there to see. So you will only see what is there inside of you. So it is important that we keep the insides completely uh, natural, open, and Sudarshan Kriya allows us to do that. So every week you do a long Sudarshan Kriya. Every day there is a 15-20 minute practice that is taught. It allows you to connect with yourself, allows you to be you, allows you to be comfortable with yourself. A lot of people can't be comfortable with themselves. They always need to have somebody, some music, some video, some external stimuli to continuously make them feel full. But if you meditate regularly and do the Sudarshan Kriya regularly, just with yourself, you can be very happy and content and happy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I think you brought a very interesting point, Prasannaji, on distractions. Because when I talk to people in corporate life, they always talk about Gen Z, the people who are born, I think, after 96 or 98 until 2010 or 2012. Now,
Hmm.
those are the people who are getting into workforce. And these people who are directors, VPs, global heads, and others, when I talk to them, they always say that these guys, they are very distracted. They try to do multiple things at the same time, and then they screw up the entire delivery or any assignment which is given to them. So just wondering that is there anything out of the programs which you just spoke about can impact even this Gen Z, or they will always have that external stimuli?
In fact, Gen Z the most, because what is this whole phenomena that you just spoke about being scattered and here and there and everywhere, is nothing but a lack of focus and lack of clarity. And clarity can come only with an absolute clear and mind, and that can only come when this fogginess is removed through these breathing techniques. In fact, what is it that you want when you are in a job or when you are in your prime? You want to be fully available to what you're doing so that you can be more productive, and you can be more productive, and therefore what, you can start achieving things. But in the midst of all of this, if you find that you're completely clouded, you're confused, there is no clarity of mind, I'm doing one thing in the morning and then wondering why the hell am I even doing all of this? And then you do something in the afternoon and then you lose purpose, and then you lose a sense of belongingness with what you're doing, and then it becomes like a chore, and it becomes like a just a pattern or that you have to continue to do. Then there is no fun in it. So what is important is that you need to enjoy what you're doing, by which I don't necessarily mean that you have to have job satisfaction. What is important is that you need to be able to deliver whatever is expected of you. Now that's the tough part. What happens in our lives is that everybody expects a lot out of us. You can't tell your boss, expect this out of me, right? I mean, that's why he's hiring or she's hiring you. Now that you have a boss and the boss wants you to do ABC, that ABC is not going to reduce. It's going to go all the way up to Z. And the more you perform, the more will be put on your head. Arey, wow, Sarvesh to ekdam is performing really, really well. He's so efficient. Give him more. Oh, he's done even this better. Give him even more. Of course, you'll then get a promotion, but then you'll have to do so much more. But what we've forgotten in the midst of all of this rat race is that it is important to be able to also increase your capacity to do. In the corporate space, in the outer world, what do? We do training. We acquire some skill set. We will try and use a tool better. We will try and get some AI tools so that it can make our work better. We will do so many different things to make sure that your presentation is good, your communication is good. You'll work on your language. You'll work on so many different things. But guess what? That that aspect of you which will use the tool, which will communicate, which will analyze, which will allow you to be more available to whatever it is that you're doing, that we are not addressing. That is the mind.
Right, right,
All
right.
we have to do is to take a little time out from this precious time that we have and focus on that mind every once in a while. Because when you focus on your mind and make it sharper and sharper and sharper, then you have the ability to do more, do better, be available, be more productive, and at the same time, be liked. Be fun, have a sense of humor. Something flops, you don't have to be so bitter and remorse and this and that and go into a vicious cycle. You can also say, okay, I'll do better next time and move on. The ability to drop the past, live in the moment, and work towards a better future is not something that is required once you take sannyas. A lot of people say, oh, spirituality, मैं 60 के बाद जब रिटायर हो जाऊंगा तो स्पिरिचुअल हो जाऊंगा. अरे भाई साहब, आफ्टर योर 60 65 एनीवे मोस्ट ऑफ योर बॉडी पार्ट्स आल्सो वोंट वर्क. तुम शांति लेके करोगे, अपने आप शांत हो ही जाओगे. It is when you have the energy, it is when you have the ability, it is when you have the wherewithal to do whatever it is that you want to do. That is when you need your mind at its sharpest best. For example, if you go for a haircut, the guy will make sure that this scissor of his is really, really sharp. If it's a blunt one, your hair literally gets plucked, it doesn't get cut. So it is similarly when we do our work, our mind needs to be sharp, it needs to be available, it needs to have the ability to bounce back, it should have resilience, it should have the ability to communicate, take people along, and your presence should be such that people want to be with you.
Right.
People in the office will say, yaar, ye kahan se aa gaya, yaar, hatao isko. Does it happen or not? And there are some people, they don't do any good to you. But just when you're with them, you feel, yaar, he's a nice guy. For no apparent good that he or she has done to you, you feel it's a nice guy. Why is that? Because of your aura, because of your presence. In fact, nowadays doctors are saying all the health problems that come to you first come into your aura, and much later will they reach your body. So I'm saying, if you're doing your practices, if you're doing your meditation, if you're doing your sadhana regularly, the aura gets cleansed, and therefore we find that people are healthier. And I tell you, today, mental health is a serious challenge. It always was, but post COVID, it has just got accelerated. Everybody is grappling with it. You know, the mind is not able to focus, and then the everybody is now talking also about the vaccine that we've got. It has its own conditions that is created. People very young are getting heart attacks. So I think it becomes even more important that we understand a holistic way of living our lives, having tools, techniques that can take care of your inner sharpening so that you are available to everything that the world has to throw at you. Please understand, the world is not going to plan and tell you beforehand before it springs a surprise on you. So if there is something bad that is going to happen, you're going to know only when it happens to you, right? So which means
Right.
when should you be ready? You should be ready all the time.
No, no, that's very true, Prasannaji. And in fact, corporates, when we speak to them, they say that they send their employees to multiple programs, and it becomes more of an entertainment exercise. So at the time when they are in a program, it may be 1 day program, it may be 3 days program, it may be a week-long program. Sometimes they do it on site, sometimes they do it off site. But they say that they are, they enjoy it during that process, and then follow it maybe 15 days, 30 days. Some of them do it like 3 months, 6 months, but they again get back to the same routine cycle, and then they start doing exactly the same thing. So just wondering that you you guys run so many programs in art of living. How do you measure effectiveness that yes, people did this program and they're actually following it for a longer period till it becomes their habit? Because as we say that till the time you're not repeating something again and again and again, it will not become your habit. And if
Absolutely.
something is not your habit, then there are higher chances that you will go back to what your habit is.
So a couple of parts here. So how do we measure the efficacy or the impact? So we have a full-fledged research team which collaborates with Harvard, with Yale, different universities, NIMHANS, AIMS. So we put out, we work with the people who are doing programs. We have a batch that we identify. They go through the programs and the research is being done on that. And the research shows some remarkable benefits: better sleep, better productivity, generally overall well-being, feeling a sense of feeling upbeat, feeling happy, communication. In fact, we have done programs for troops in America who have come back from the Iraq and the Afghanistan war. We call it Welcome Home Troops, where people could not even once they came back home from the war would not be able to have a communication with their own. They would lock themselves up in rooms for days together, for months together. We've had such people doing the program, and after having done the Sudarshan Kriya, their complete life is transformed. Their family members are grateful. We have done programs for pretty much. We do programs in prisons. In programs in prisons you will be it is unfathomable what has happened. People have the ability to drop their animosity, drop the grudge, and are willing to look at a positive path to making their own life fuller and better going forward, and not unnecessarily living in the past misery, and shaping their life for the future. These are all on the research aspect. The other aspect of the ability of keeping the continuity. So what we do is we have a very small 20-minute regime that is taught to most people before they leave, which is part of homegoing instructions. And we have follow-ups that the faculty do on a regular basis. So most clients that work with us, we work with Honda, NTPC, Google, you name it. I mean, we've done it with most of these very large corporates and PSUs, where in fact some of these PSU, I won't name them, have they sent us a batch of people that they wanted to sack, that they are not productive, and there is no way other way than sacking. But they said they wanted to give them one more chance, and then sent a batch. That batch, more than 40% of them have turned out over the next year or so have got promotions. Because at the end of the day, the way you respond to your environment depends on how you feel inside. It is not always external. In fact, it's most of the time not external. How you say what to me. See, when tomorrow, when you're very, very, very tired and completely depleted of energy, and somebody comes and say, "Wow, Sarvesh, what a lovely T-shirt." So he said, "See, look at him taunting me about my T-shirt." Arey bhaiya, all he did was give you a genuine compliment. But the way we received it depends on our state of mind and our energy levels at that point in time. And complete contrary, where you're completely upbeat, you're celebrating with your friends and everybody, and somebody comes, "Hey, Sarvesh, you were such an idiot." Arey, kuch nahi, yaar, he just keeps blabbering, forget about him. Let's go party, he's a fool, yeah. Does that happen or no? It only depends on your state of mind. So I'm saying the state of mind becomes very, very important, even in the ability to deliver. And therefore, the corporates that have worked with us, they've had some remarkable experiences. In fact, many years ago, there used to be this thing, oh, you're a religious organization. And now nobody really cares anymore, because it is so useful. It is so, the impact is so palpable that it does not matter. And how is it religious? We are teaching you how to breathe in a particular fashion to which there is some science. Every time you're angry, your breath pattern is fast. You may not have noticed, but next time you're angry, hopefully you never are, but next time you're angry, check your breath pattern. When you're very, very depressed, it is very shallow, your breath. So every emotion that comes up in you, it has a direct impact on your breath. All we've done now is, with this breath, we will impact the negative impacts that have happened because of the different emotions that you faced. As simple as that, we've reversed it. That's the simplicity and the beauty of it. So you breathe in a certain fashion so that the stresses and the toxins that have been created in your body because of the emotional roller coaster that we've gone through gets flushed out of your system. Now, everybody is vouching for it. Universities abroad are saying this is breathing is the best thing that you can ever do. Sudarshan Kriya is something that is taught in more than 26 universities in America for credits. They get credit for doing this. Students get credit for doing this. So I'm saying today, what is important is that, first of all, it works. There is no doubt anymore. Second is what? Will the guy continue? Now it's like saying I go to a doctor and I say he's given me medicines. This doctor is very, very reputed. He has saved thousands of people's lives. He gave me medicine and he came back. I didn't take the medicine. Doctor is a quack. ऐसा तो नहीं होगा ना. At the end of the day, something will be prescribed. You will have to do it. A lot of people say that I cannot keep it up, but that's not our experience, because we give serious follow-ups. The teacher follows up, we do weekly follow-ups, then we have reconnect sessions, and we teach a very simple tool that they can do by themselves. However, even if you've done it for the first 40, 50 days, something sets in, your clock gets reversed, or not reversed is not the right word, reset. And every once in a while, when something's happened to you, by default, these different simple sutras that are taught and the Sudarshan Kriya that is taught allows you to come back to your equilibrium in the shortest amount of time. Please understand, at the end of the day, it's about coming back to your equilibrium. I get upset. Of course, I get upset. But when how much time does it take you to come back to your normal happy state? That's the most important thing. In the Shastras, it is written that you should come back to your normal state of being in the same amount of time that it takes for the line that you draw on water disappears. So you take a stick and draw a line on the water. Before you move to the next point, the earlier part of the line is gone already. So you should come back quickly back to your normal state. And simple sutras and simple breathing techniques that we've taught does it. Then what we also do, we do journeys, like for Honda, for Power Grid, so many organizations, we've done some journeys. So which means we do the first program that is done. Post that, we do advanced meditation programs. We do another program called Serene Dynamism, so 2-3 different programs, which as various aspects of a human being it works on, and then it cements that into your system. And when adverse situations come your way, you have the ability to withhold, face it, and for whatever reason at that point, even if you're shaken for a little bit, which happens normal human being, you come back to your equilibrium in the shortest period of time. And this is, I think, what everybody is wanting, to come back to your equilibrium. equilibrium, come back to balance. And I tell you, this word balance is not given the due that it deserves. Balance is the most important thing. Nobody says you should not be angry. Nobody says, because things happen sometimes. We are not all God and Guruji and all that. We are normal human beings, but we get angry. But do you have the ability to say, oh, look, I got angry and I come back to my equilibrium in the shortest period of time? Acha, lot of people give anger a bad word. It's like a bad word, but it's not true. Sometimes you can show anger. So, for example, if you have a team, if you always nice and they'll take you for granted. अरे क्या है, कुछ नहीं करेगा. But there are times you have to show. Come on, this is not acceptable. No, whatever. I mean, but that is showing anger. By showing anger and becoming anger are two different things. Showing anger is you are in control. Becoming angry means you are losing control. You've given yourself to the situation. So these are small sutras, but very important. So when you get angry next time, am I showing anger or am I getting angry? Very simple. And you don't have to practice. It'll come to you because it's with you for a period of time, and that's why these journeys help a lot. In fact, we've done a lot of programs on safety with Jindal Steel, with Tatas, with Vedantas, because the people who are working on the shop floors, their attention and your ability to be focused is very important. A little bit of lack of focus and you can lose a hand or a leg. So safety angle comes through from presence of mind. Presence of mind is directly connected to your state of mind. So now, over the last many years now, mind is becoming something that people are talking about. And they now realize that if we don't address our mind, everything. See, whatever action that you do originates in the mind. And this space called mind, where this thought originates, if that is disturbed, a disturbing thought only will come. And that disturbing thought will create disturbing action. And then it's a vicious cycle. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes perfect sense, personally. Now I'm just thinking that people who go into your programs, they would be in their 20s, 30s, or 40s. So how easy or difficult it is to get out of those habits which have been built over a period of time, right? So they have been hammered again and again and again and again, right? Till it's fully settled, right? Now those people get into the program, say a 30-year-old person or 40-year-old person, or for that matter, even 20-year-old person gets into a program for 3 days to 5 days, then a lot of this has to be removed, right? As they say that if the glass is full, then you can't put more water into it because then it will start flowing out, right? So first you have to empty the glass, and then you have to put like new liquid in the glass, and all of that has to be done in a super fast manner, right? Just like 3 to 5 days.
Takes 2 sessions of Sudarshan Kriya. That's the thing. It is an experiential program which you do. It is not a, like I say, it's not a conceptualizing. It's actually doing and breathing the stress out of your system. I can tell you and talk to you about concepts and hammer those concepts in your head. And like you rightly said, if you're already full, 90% of the time your reaction to somebody who's speaking would be, yeah, I already know this. Yeah, don't worry, it doesn't work. I tried this in the past. This is coming, this kind of reactions come from a full mind where I know. And that's the most dangerous mindset to have, because you can't know everything in this world. People who have known pretty much everything completely, if you talk to genuinely to a scientist, he will always be in a state of I don't know. I really don't know. Because when he started off, where he started off and where he's reached and what he's been able to do, only an I don't know mind can achieve that. If I knew it all, my knowing will hamper that progress. So the ability to empty yourself and say, I don't know, it takes a lot of courage, because we are conditioned in such a way that we have to see in every conversation, also in the office or in a corporate environment, everybody wants to show that they know. Any topic that you bring up, they say, yeah, they have to say it there too bit. Why? Because that will create an impression that I know. But that's not necessarily the best mindset to have when you're learning. So when you're learning, and every moment is a learning, by the way, every person who speaks is speaking something. But if we in our minds keep on saying yes to everything that we know, and know and reject the things that we don't know, you know what will happen? We'll acquire nothing new in our lives.
Right, right.
In fact, when you hear something that you don't know, that is the time you need to really give it a serious listen. Wow, I mean this point of view or this aspect I've never thought of. I might know some things, but there are some things that your experience might teach me. So to live in a state of I don't know is not the most. You need to be a little courageous or have the grit to do that. I don't know. You know, every time somebody asks you a question, you need not have an answer. You can say I don't know. Not everybody is comfortable with that because it's vulnerable. You're vulnerable. People don't want to be vulnerable. They want to know it all. They have to be guarded. I am the best. I am IIT. I am IIM. I am this. I am that. Oh my God. Relax. You're a beautiful human being first.
So, so Prasanna, if we extrapolate like what you just said, right? So one is that people have those habits, right? Which have been built since childhood for a very long period of time, right? Second is they have got different covers, right? Like IIT, IIMs, director, VP, global head, this head, right? Head of the state. No? So they have got all these roles. And then they are into a digital world which is fully distracted. So nowadays you can see that people even do not watch like 10 minutes or
Yeah,
15 minutes video, right? They watch like 30 seconds, 45 seconds reel and they keep swiping it, right?
correct.
So in such a distracted world with so many ifs and buts, how your organization prepares people into that mental frame? Because if within 2 days mind has to switch and start doing something, it means there has to be some preparation done right before they do this 2 days of Sudarshan Kriya and actually that they sort of make it part of their life.
So what happens is that, of course, it's a 3 or a 4 day program in which 2 days is Sudarshan Kriya. But the beauty here is that we are not preaching. We are not trying to say this is the way to do it, don't do this. We are just stating facts as they are. But before stating those facts as they are, we are making them go through a regime called the Sudarshan Kriya, which allows them to be more receptive. And what they listen to stays with them for longer periods of time. You know,
Okay.
so there is no you should do, shouldn't do, because there in life there is no should do and shouldn't do. Every moment has its own challenges, and you have to be prepared to be able to bounce back for whatever it is that life has to throw at you.
Right, right.
But in the midst of all of this that are changing, there is one thing that is constant. What is that? The mind, which is oscillating between the past and future. Right now, you're sitting, you're thinking about your next question, or you're thinking about, oh my God, that question I could have asked better. Then what happens? To this, we have not done justice. I am now sitting now thinking and say, oh, my next meeting, my next appointment. Then to this conversation, I can't do justice. And then tomorrow, when I look back at this podcast and I say, oh, I could have answered this better, there comes regret. Regret only comes if you have not given your 100%. When you've given it all that you have, and then even if you fail, I mean, what more can I do? Now I have to only increase my capacity to do, that's all. Does that
Right,
make
right.
sense? If you give you a
Yeah.
half-heartedness, you will always regret. Arey, yaar, had I, put a little more, I would have cracked it. Or whatever. I mean, whatever else it is. So that is why important is what? Living in the present moment. How do you do that? The only way that you can address the mind is not through the mind, which is what most trainers and influencers and your public speakers forget. They try to address the mind. It will never work. The mind is, see, so that, what is yoga? Body, breath, and mind. When they are in union, it's called yoga. Correct? Now, the mind is something that can be only addressed through the breath. So, for example, if you sit for a few minutes and do deep breaths in and out with your eyes closed, you will by default find that you suddenly go blank. But if you try doing it with your mind, become blank, become blank, become blank, you will not become blank. Like, I give you another example. For sleep, I must sleep right now, I must sleep right now, I must sleep right now, you will not sleep. The minute you say, forget about it, yaar, chhod do. The minute you let go, then you find default fall asleep. What does that mean? Everything has its own language. You and me understand English, so this conversation. But if I speak in German and you don't understand any German, then there is no conversation. Similarly, the body, if you want to make muscles, there is effort required, because effort is the language of the body. And for the mind, it's effortlessness, letting go. So for every few minutes in a day, you have to let go. And by the way, you do that every night before you sleep, because if you don't let go, it's called insomnia. Insomnia is when you are not able to let go whatever it is that you've been doing through the day. Oh, kal ye karna, wo karna, ye karna, gone. Then you can't get sleep. So
Right.
every person who sleeps, which is according to me 99% of this population, is letting go. But can you let go at will? That is called meditation. So you do Sudarshan Kriya and you do 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes of meditation. You just sit and only observe. Does that mean don't let thoughts come? No, thoughts will come. Just observe. Oh, I have to do this. I have to do this. I have to do this. Keep on observe. After a while of observing, not fighting the thought, but observing the thought, you'll find that the thoughts will reduce and suddenly you'll become calm. This 10, 15 minutes of being calm every day will allow you to be more dynamic, allow you to be more productive, allow you to be more attentive, allow you to be more focused, allow you to be more vibrant, and your presence will start attractive ho jayega banda, not because of any facial but because of something internal. Like I said about the child, no, you get pulled towards a child and say, oh, so cute, I want to hold it. Why do you do that? Not because of the complexion, not because of the abilities, just because of the simplicity and the uh, 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 beauty and the presence of that baby. So
Right.
that's what I think we need today more than anything else. And I tell you, the younger generation are really, really smart because of the internet and the because in our days when we were kids, we didn't have internet and all. क्या मेरे टाइम पे तो दूरदर्शन होता था यार एक. I still remember the first TV, क्या Almona or something. It used to have a screen like that and it would open and then oh my God, big thing, color, right? Color TV. So
Yeah.
here we've come where today? So in the midst of all of this, please understand there are a lot of downsides that we see of technology, but the upsides, they have available content available to them at their fingertips. They sometimes today professors, you talk to professors, the child will have more understanding of subjects sometimes and ask you such tricky questions that professors can't answer because they probably looked it up and studied it from a YouTube video or something and come. So there is a lot of content available there. It's all about increasing your energy, increasing your ability to do. That's what is important. Nothing wrong with internet and a little bit of browsing. However, if it is not used and your lack of energy and your energy gets depleted and then you start succumbing to that, then is an issue, because then you are not using internet and social media and internet is using you. So
Right.
that's why energy is very, very, very important. And that can only come by attending to your breath.
So Prasannaji, one of the questions which keep coming, especially from the generation who has access to internet, right? So, as you rightly mentioned, that when you grew up, or even when I was a child, there was a limited information. So, there was information scarcity. Now we have data diabetes, right? There is so much data available that we have data diabetes, right? People are trying to avoid data and pick only meaningful data, right? At our
Correct.
time, each and every data point was useful.
Correct.
So when people look into body, mind, breathing, and all these spiritual aspects, then they start thinking about sannyas, being in the 60s, right? And then they feel that it is all about leaving this entire materialistic world and living into like a spiritual world. They do not see that it can coexist. And then we see spiritual leaders living in luxury, right? So most of the spiritual leaders, they travel in luxury cars. Several of them have their own helipads, they have their own choppers, they stay in 5-star, 7-star hotels. Wherever they go, hundreds of people will be there to achieve them, right? So when people see that, and then those people will go and meet the gathering and will say, do not care about materialistic things. The journey, which is an outward journey, is not long lasting. What matters at end of day is your inner journey, your karmas, and all of that stuff. So now people who are hearing, they start comparing. Oh, I am having a Maruti. This person just came down from Mercedes, right? Or maybe I am having a scooter, and he is coming from BMW or Rolls Royce, and then he's saying, leave the materialistic world. So it becomes the same pitch that, okay, I have a scooter, it means I should leave the scooter. If I have Maruti, I should leave my Maruti. But this person is having all these luxuries. So how can we give the right message to people that this materialistic life as well as spiritual life can coexist? And breathing, doing yoga, pranayam does not mean that you leave the whole world and go to the forest.
Absolutely. So I can't speak for other gurus and saints, but I can speak for Guruji. He has never said that. He has never ever said drop all materialistic things. Absolutely not. Arey bhaiya, if you are Ambani's son, you'll be born in Ambani's son. What is Ambani's son's normal? For us, will be lavish only. Abhi, just imagine, no. For Ambani's son, whatever is like not normal, whatever is his poor will be our extravagance, right? So everybody has their own karma and will born in different places. It is not about dropping materialistic things. It is about when you don't get those materialistic things, are you disturbed? You understand? If you have materialistic things, enjoy it. But tomorrow, if you don't have it, don't miss it. Does that make sense?
Right.
No, that is the problem. I want this, I want that. People, whether it is Buddha or for that matter even Guruji, what are they saying? Ichhaye ko tyago. What does it mean? This is what is leading us to misery. Does not mean work hard, does not mean don't acquire wealth, does not mean don't have a good lifestyle, doesn't mean सब घोड़े पे चलते रहेंगे क्या? Bhai, some company has created a vehicle, you have the ability to buy it, enjoy it, but if tomorrow it is taken away, can you be without misery? Can you not be miserable? This is the state that we have to reach. Not a state where we say we'll leave everything. Arey bhaiya, koi Himalaya jaake, if you have to go to the Himalayas and live, then you don't need all this knowledge. Because it is only you. Knowledge is required because on a day-to-day basis we interact with people. And these people are of different mindset, different thoughts, different age group, different religions, different caste, different creed. Within these diverse sets of mindsets and people, we need to be able to be comfortable. So therefore, it is important that we don't necessarily run away from all of this, but use all these tools and techniques to make our life fuller. So if you are a businessman, grow your business 100-fold. But for that, what do you need? You need a presence. You need a calm, a peaceful mind. You need to be sharp. You need to be aware. You need to be able to get the right intuitive. Or do you think you will get intuition where you are very, very stressed and a complete mess is there? Will you be intuitive? Then people in the Afghanistan war, all of them should have been intuitive. There is so much stress there. People are dying left, right, and center. Bombs are blowing. So in the midst of all of that, it should be very, very intuitive. So what does it mean? You need to please understand. I've been with Guruji now approximately 29-30 years. I have never ever seen him say drop all your wealth. Never. All he's saying is have it, enjoy it. But if you don't have it, don't be miserable without it. So the ability to let go, the ability to do little vairagya, to have a little dispassion every once in a while, separates the boys from the men. Want, because there is no end to this. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like for example, today I've become like you were saying, I've become a chairman. So now I'm a chairman. Oh, great. I go outside into some part of Bangalore. Nobody will know me. Nobody will care for me. Nobody दो बार देखेगा नहीं कोई. Right or wrong? Now what will happen? Will I be shattered? Oh my God, nobody knows me. When I'm a chairman back in my office in my area, everybody says hello, salute and all that. How silly would that be? One of the most famous people in the world would be, for example, let's say Michael Jackson. But Michael Jackson was known also in one some places. There are some places Michael Jackson also was not known. In fact, lot of our stars will say, "Oh, when I go to the outskirts of Switzerland and all that, nobody recognizes me. I feel so good." I mean, have you heard them say that? I mean, isn't this is a dichotomy? No, it's a irony, no, that all their life they're doing whatever they're doing so that they're recognized, and at one point in their life they feel happy when nobody recognizes them.
Right. So they put all the
Say what?
effort to become a celebrity, and then they are becoming happy when they are not the celebrity, right?
Correct. So therefore, all the success in the world should not get to your head. All the क्या बोलते हैं, the failures in the world should not shake you. Would you like to be with someone like that, or would you like to be somebody who, oh, success हो गया तो oh, hi, then becoming arrogant. Hey, कौन है तू? किधर है? All that arrogance comes and suddenly becomes failures come and suddenly becomes one wreck. Who would you like to be with? Somebody who's untouched by all the glory and untouched by all the failures. So what? Guruji says so beautifully. He says there is two things: soham, which is the Sudarshan Kriya, and the second is he says so what? No, tell me really. So what? Okay, I failed. So what? Is that the end of the world? How many times I failed in my life? Have I not bounced back? We have to really, for the past, we should look at past for learning. What do? We keep on living in the past and become bitter. उसने मुझे ऐसे बोला, he did this, she did that, he did that, why did he do that? What if I had done this? What if I was born in Ambani's house? I would be there. Ore Baba, you already born. You're already ascended on this world, in this world, right? Now make the most of what you have. And future, that is another area that people are fearful. What is going to happen? What if tomorrow whatever I have goes away? A lot of rich celebrity or people who have, doesn't necessarily mean money, anything that you may have, position, whatever, are always insecure. What if it goes away? What if it goes away? Arey bhaiya, one day it will go away. You will die. And when you die, leave it here and go. So this, do you want to be a person or be with a person who's not touched by the glory and not shaken by any failure? Or do you want to be with a person who gets highs, and then becomes arrogant and then becomes one like a full vegetable when he has failures? देखो ना, आप खुद सोचो. Who do you want to be with? So that is the beauty that Gurudev is sharing. He's saying, he says to us, walk like fire. Sometimes, walk like fire. Arey, you are here. The world is there for you, and you are available to give this world a great future. You walk like fire. What is it? ये ऐसे ऐसे दुखी होके क्यों घूमता है कोई? No? Then sometimes you also say, like a king. What does it mean? It doesn't mean you become arrogant. It means that when times are bad, so what? It is not easy. And each one of us have gone through it and come out of it stronger. We know that. But when we go through it, oh my God, oh my, अरे oh my God होगा मत बोलो, अपना चलते रहो यार, अपना काम करते रहो. Keep doing what you're doing. It might look निरर्थक. There's no word for that in meaningless का निरर्थक का अलग फर्क है. But everything might look meaningless, निरर्थक कि क्यों कर रहा हूं मैं ये, लेकिन करते रहो.
So, what I mean? So ultimately that outward journey as well as inner journey can be done at the same time, right? It's not that you can either go outward or you can go inward.
No, in fact, what Gurudev says is very beautifully. He says, Nivritti or Pravritti. Pravritti is whatever you do outwardly. Nivritti is that you go inwards and you rest. So every night you become Nivrit and go to sleep. Every morning you get up and Pravritti mein, you start acting. This is the beauty. That is why I'm saying the spiritual knowledge needs to be acquired when you are 15 onwards. Not after 60. Nothing wrong with after 60. वो भी ठीक है. मतलब उसमें कोई दिक्कत नहीं है. But all I mean to say is that when you are When you're prime, when you're wanting to do what sky is the limit, and I want to do this and I want to do that. This is the time for you to know that even if I fail, there's no big deal. And even if I get glory, so what? I am beyond all this. All I can do is continue to do. And now you can go back to the Gita and say, do your thing and then let go. हमारे जो all our ancestors, I mean our older people, such beautiful thing they said, नेकी करो और क्या बोलते हैं नेकी करो और कुएं में डालो or something like that they say, no, कि दरिया में डालो, कुछ तो बोलते हैं. What does that mean? You keep doing, you focus on what you're doing. A lot of the times we do so much overthinking and stop doing. That stopping doing is the problem. Good, bad, ugly doesn't matter. Continue to be doing what you do, and that is what people observe. यार इसका कितना टाइम खराब था लेकिन never batted an eyelid. He kept doing things. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
Oh, ये हो गया, वो हो गया, बेचारा, बेचारा, oh poor fellow नहीं. Keep at it, and when your time is good again, everything will shine. But till then, keep at it. Live the knowledge. Understand that you are endless, limitless, and keep doing your sadhana so regularly so that you can harness that energy which is with the inside of you. All of these beautiful gadgets, all of this social media, all of the phones, all of the computers, everything that is created by this energy inside. It didn't manifest. It was created by this energy which is inside in each one of us, which is what we need to keep nurturing, which is why it becomes important that we attend to our mind, which is why it becomes important that we attend to our breath, because there is no other way of addressing the mind.
No, Prasannaji, very beautifully described. No, so maybe I'll bring two more questions which keep coming. One is around this body, right? So as you rightly mentioned, that at end of day, everything will be left behind, all your wealth, all your body, right? Nothing is going to go along with you, right? It is just the soul which will travel. So why do spiritual leaders have bodyguards when they are not bothered about the body?
No, see, there's a very shallow way of understanding it. See, bodyguards means what? I don't know, I can't speak for everyone, I can talk for Guruji. Now, when he goes into satsang, there'll be like 300-400 people who will charge at him because they want to be with him. Why do you charge at anybody just like that? Do you want to go and be with somebody just like that? Obviously, there is love there. Nobody will ever harm him. That I know. But in this whole zeal to want to be with him, if so many people run to him, somebody will push somebody. It's for their good, not for him. He doesn't need security. He is the most secure person in the world. In fact, millions in the world are secure because of him. So security is not for him. Like for example, now when we do these youth satsang where there are 2 lakh, 3 lakh, 4 lakh people, there'll be a barrack, like a ramp that is created which has barricades. For whom? So that people don't charge and then stampede doesn't happen. So that they can see him. Why do we put up a stage? People sometimes ask, oh, so much money is spent in all that. Arey bhai, if 4 lakh people come to see, he can't be sitting on the ground in one place and addressing them. Who will see him? He has to be a little elevated. Arey, in our conference room, we elevate a little bit so that the speaker can be seen, right or wrong. Same logic here. He is elevated. Then there is sound because there are so many people till the end. You have to hear what he speaks. And then there are screens that are put so that people can actually see him closer. Otherwise, normally if you have 4-5 lakh people, it looks like an ant. Guruji will look like an ant. So this is how all the paraphernalia moves around him. The security that you see around is not for him. It is for the people. At least I can talk for Guruji. Because I've been with him for the last 30 years, 29, 30 years now. So security is not for him. It is only for those people, because kai baar kya ho jata hai, they are so grateful. 99.9% of the people who come to meet him is to either express gratitude or to share with him that there is so much pain in my life, take it away from me. Only 2 things. I mean, many others, ancillaries, but these are the main core 2 things. But 99.9% is gratitude. And when you're in gratitude and when you're full and you want to, you're so happy, you just go, and then you'll not care sometimes for the awareness dwindles. You don't care for the person next to. Jump karo, kuch bhi karo. Thank you, Guruji. बोलने के लिए जाके कूदो. Now for them to be safe, so that the people around there are safe, there will be some security. Say, भैया थोड़ा दूर रहो. For him, what security he needs? He went into Pakistan. He went into Iraq. He went into Sri Lanka when the main war was in. He went to apna that 52-year-old war, no, in apna
Bangladesh.
No, not Bangladesh. Apna, where our President Santos won the Nobel Peace Prize for that. In oh God, what's the name? It's just not coming to me. In South America, there was a 42-year-old, 52-year-old war that was going on. He went there. The president was going to send the army to finish off all the guerrillas, finish them off. So, and he told that so many people are going to be killed and I'm not happy about it. So Gurudev told him, give me 2 days, let me go and talk to them. Okay, give me, you've given it so much time, give me 2 days. He's saying, nothing will work, but yeah, you can, I mean, we waited so long, 2 more days won't hurt, please go. So he went and spoke to all the rebels and the guerrilla leaders who were in conflict with the government. And guess what? In 2.5 days, they unilaterally declared peace.
Oh, these guerrillas.
And the President Santos, Colombia, is in Colombia. The President Santos won the Nobel Peace Prize for that thing, which was done by Gurudev. He goes into all these areas. Where is the security requirement? Into Iraq, we have teachers who are in Iraq, who are local Iraqi teachers, more than 150 approximately, exact number I'm not aware right now, but 150 of them who teach our different programs. So Gurudev goes there very often. Pakistan is gone, Sri Lanka is gone. All the, I still remember I went with him to, when this Ranveer Sena and all this Bihar, there used to be this Naxal activities. I have gone with him. I have seen those militants showing, कि हमने ऐसे मार दिया. Kashmir, we have interacted and taught programs to Hizbul people. They have come to the path of peace. We have people who come and said that it's all meaningless right now. This killing and all is meaningless. We've seen what Gurudev has to offer. I think this is what is better, because a lot of these Naxals are not, they are very well educated also. They're doing it because they've been wronged and they're standing up for their community. It is not about just some wanting to acquire land. It is about their rights. So they are very righteous and therefore they have this, I will fight for my right types. That's the mindset that they come from. So with these kind of people, Guruji is interacting on a day-to-day basis. Ulfa militants. We had more than 1,000 of the people from Assam, in Ulfa area coming here. We've taught programs to them. Gurudev has gone there. So when somebody is putting himself in harm's way every other day, security for what? This is not for him. It is for the, in the Hindi word is vyavastha. The vyavastha rakhne ke liye security, not for him. Why does he need security? You know what I mean, right? You know where I'm coming from.
Right.
Yeah, because everybody who comes to him, I have seen only comes to him with love. I still remember in the US, there was this big African American man, and he was so disturbed. It was in a church. There was a satsang, and he was obviously not believing in any Sanatan or anything, and he was in absolute rage, and he charged at Guruji like that. He came like that, and as he came close to Guruji, he just fell down and started crying. So he said, what happened? So he just couldn't talk after that for a while. So nothing can harm him because he is the security for millions. So the security, if at all that is there, it is to keep the vyavastha in place, to keep the order and for people to be safe. See, like for example, Navratri now in the ashram here, you will have more than about 150,000 people coming. All of them come, eat, participate in puja, go to kitchen, eat and leave seamlessly because there is a vyavastha, there is a order. That order is kept by some people who are managing it, and they you may think is a security person. But that order needs to be kept. That security is not for him. That security is for people so that they don't come in harm's way.
What is the magic in that conversation? So, for example, if we take this Colombia as an example, what is the magic there that so many diplomats failed, right? A lot of international diplomats, they were also involved in the discussions, but all of them failed, and he managed to sort of get this sorted out. And is
That's
this
the
something which others can learn, or?
asks him that. And the only thing answer he says is it's presence. You know, when you speak from an authentic space, the person whom you're talking to also buys it. If there is a vested interest or there is some other angles playing, then that there is no connection. In fact, they connected with him instantly. And guess what? Not the language also was not the same. They speak Spanish, and Gurudev obviously doesn't speak Spanish, so there was a translator. In spite of all this, that's why I'm saying it's not about words. Like I said in the beginning, it's not about words. It's not about language. It's not about anything. It's about presence. In the midst of all of this, what did they say at the end of all of it? They said, we are we accept Guruji's Gandhian principles of peace, and we'd like to surrender. It takes a lot, because 52 years means there will be a 2 or 3 generations who have been fighting, and many deaths have happened on both sides. Just imagine somebody's father has died and that person is now going to surrender. So therefore, we all our teachers there did a lot of reconciliation programs where people from both the communities, which is from the government and the army and from the guerrilla people, bringing them on. FARC, it's called FARC. They are called FARC people from Colombia. So bringing them together, making both sides understand each other's perspective. A lot of amazing work has happened post that to create this reconciliation. But the only way that this works is because of presence. So each of us can cleanse our presence by doing these simple techniques. And you know, sometimes your boss just likes you. And sometimes your boss, even if you do all that you do in the world, will not like you. Will say, will always taunt you. Hota hai ki nahi hota hai?
Right.
Why?
Right.
Why? Why? You think the boss hates you for a reason? Not necessarily. It's just that some people's presence is not good. And some people's presence is really nice. Ki bhai, he's not a great performer, but he's a very nice guy. You know what I mean? He may not be the top performer, but he's a very nice person. You tell him something and it'll get done. You give him a problem, he'll solve it, or she will solve it. You know, this is how teams are built. So, and that communication, presence, the ability to work together, I think comes from a lot of this tools and techniques that we've taught people, and it's helping millions across the globe, yeah. And it is such a satisfaction. I'm a teacher. Every time I teach, I really count my blessings and say, what an opportunity. 50, 100 people, lives are getting completely and totally transformed. Unbelievable.
So these are like uh, normal people doing extraordinary things, right? So I have seen several people who were normal, ordinary people. Now they are doing a lot of extraordinary things. They came from very humble background, and now they are extraordinary people. So, as per you, what are the attributes which take an ordinary person to do something extraordinary?
Blessing.
The blessings.
If anybody thinks that it is their doing, then they've missed the bus. It is absolute, in Sanskrit, it's called Krupa. There is some blessing of the past. Otherwise, it is not possible, man. It is not possible. It's doing is very limited. You can only do that much. Happening is beyond that. You sometimes realize that some things you didn't put as much effort, but the results were spectacular. And there are some projects that you put your heart, soul, sweat, blood, everything, and nothing works. It just flops. It tanks. Yes or no?
Right, yeah.
Why is that? It is because some things happen. Happen means what? Happen is beyond doing. So this is my firm belief that when your time comes, things start happening. And the beauty is till your time comes, you have to rough it out. And that portion, when you rough it out, how you rough it out, art of living defines. So it tells you to live in the present moment, accept people as they are. So Sarvesh is very rude to me. So what? There are rude people, there are nice people, there are bad people, there are all kinds of people, and we have to accept them all and move on. I cannot break down and say, oh my God, Sarvesh was rude to me. Arey, Sarvesh might have had a bad day. Possible or no?
Right. Right.
And then, like a very other beautiful sutra of us, don't see intention behind other people's mistakes. Somebody does wrong, oh, he did it on purpose. He is like that only. I know he doesn't like me. Oh my God, relax. We think that everybody is thinking about us and this whole world is conspiring against us. Nobody has the time. Everybody is busy with their own problems or their own issues. Nobody has so much time, and you're not so special that everybody is thinking of you. So relax, give it some space, relax, let it go.
Right.
Everything doesn't have to be the way you think it should happen. You have to give it little room. Let things happen, let things move. But the ability to say that comes only if you're founded in yourself, full faith in yourself. For that, sorry to come back to it, but then you need breath and meditation and all of that so that you can be so strongly founded in your self that nobody can shake me. And even if something is shaking me, I'll come back to my equilibrium in the quickest amount of time. And if something is still shaking me, it is coming here to teach me something. Keep that
Right.
firm faith, and it is true. Whether you believe it or not, when bad things happen to you, that time we forget it. But for a few years, few months, few days later, you will say, wow, that day, whatever happened, I learned so much from it, right or wrong? Sometimes you take a decision and you pray, oh, ye ho jai, and it happens to you. What you want, you get. And few weeks, months, years later, what do you say? Oh, I wish it had not happened to me. Right or wrong? Everybody says, I
Right.
want this, I want this, I want this. You get it. You're not happy after getting it also. That is it is very important to understand happiness. Happiness is not in objects or in people. Does that make sense? We feel
Right.
get a mobile, I will be happy. अभी क्या हुआ 14 आ गया कि 15 आ गया पता नहीं अभी तो मेरे को समझ में नहीं आता. I don't know which phone I have only because I don't know, it doesn't say anything on the phone. You have to open the phone, go into about, it will tell you which phone it is. They all look the same. 14 and 15 and X and 10 and God knows what. My God, it is not, nothing is enough. Everything has to be more and more and more. Only then I'll be happy. And then when you get everything, now lot of questions come to Guruji in big gatherings that people who have everything, why are they so depressed? It is true. When you have something to achieve and you're striving for it, you put your heart, soul, blood, everything into it, then you're doing so many things, you don't have time to worry. When you have everything, now you say, oh, but still now what? Now nobody's looking at me, nobody's caring for me. Da, da, da. Then you have nothing to do. Then the mind is one devil's space, and you end up becoming miserable. And then people don't then get into depression. Oh my God, depression. As I was a kid when you were younger, what, we never heard of depression. Where was the time to get depressed? We used to play cricket, break windows. People used to yell at us. This is what used to happen continuously. Busy doing something. When you don't have much to do, that is where all this depression all seeps in. So, point I'm making is that at the end of the day, happiness is not in objects or sometime in the future. If you're not happy right now, there's a very bleak chance that you will ever be happy. Right now, you have everything to be happy. And a very important sutra here is about gratitude. Today, if you see relatively the younger generations, they're not grateful. They have so much. All of us, we have so much, but we are not grateful for what we have. We are always cribbing for what we don't. No, I always say, मतलब some girl will say पति है लेकिन आमिर खान जैसा नहीं है. अरे भाई आमिर खान तो एक ही है ना. उस बेचारे की भी 2 शादी टूट गई. Imagine. You know what I mean, right? So we always want something like that, something like this. It will happen in the future, but right now we're not happy. Right now, every ingredient for you to be happy is available right now, this moment. Just be grateful for what you have. It is also said there in the Bible somewhere also. It says that whatever you have, be grateful in it. Otherwise, whatever you have also will be taken away. That is why, like for example, as a parent, you give a toy to a child, and the child asks for one more toy. What will you tell him or her? First, play with that. I'll give you the one later, right? Same thing God is also saying. I've given you everything, but that you don't not happy with. You want something more. First, learn to use that. Then I'll give you more. So we need to be grateful. Acha, by grateful, I don't mean you should not want to get more. Gratefulness is a condition. It's a space that I have so much. I can speak, I can communicate, I can walk, I can talk, I can smell. I mean, I can I can do so many things that the blind can't do, the lame can't do. But I am still cribbing. So such people need to be whipped, and time invariably whips them.
That's interesting. So I really enjoyed the conversation, Prasannaji. I did not realize that it's already like 90 minutes. So
Oh,
I
really?
must I must say
Oh
that
my
even the virtual presence makes a difference, because if I get into office meetings, I get bored after half an hour. But here we kept talking and talking,
God.
and it
Because
was quite
it's
interesting.
a matter of our being. We were not talking about frivolous things. We were not talking about, we were talking about things that concern our being. And this kind of gossip is very good. This is called satsang.
Mhm.
A lot of people think satsang means you go to some place and all old fogies will be sitting and they'll be singing and oh satsang, that's why I don't want to go there. If you come to our place, any of our courses, any of our places where satsangs happen, average age will not be more than 35. Average, I'm talking.
Wow.
So all young people been there, done that, want to give. And this sangha, this group also helps. So when you feel
Mhm.
you're slipping, sometimes it happens. No, when you're slipping, you feel you're slipping, and suddenly you find three, four others. They just pull you out of it. So there a good sangha also is very important. So that's why satsang means keeping sangha of good people, where the knowledge is discussed, where good things are discussed, where, like for example, this one last thing I just said now, gratefulness. Just one thing, just be grateful. From today, I decide that I'll be grateful. Period. Forget everything else. Grateful for what I have. Just imagine, the more grateful you are, the more you will receive. The more
Right.
complain you do, whatever little bit you have will be taken away. Just being grateful. I am, I mean, the position and not position as in chairman position, but the situation that I'm in my life right now, people will give their right arm to be in it. And if I'm cribbing, then is it fair to them? I mean, come on, isn't it? So
Right. Right.
we are all so blessed. We have the ability to spend whatever number of minutes chatting about knowledge. How many people do that? Everybody talks about somebody is wrong, something is not good, bitching about people, not talking about anything that is progressive or not that something that is uplifting. So we get this opportunity to discuss something that is uplifting. That itself is a big blessing. So if we make it a practice to be grateful, come what may. So if somebody, for example, somebody slaps you, so which means you are going to get hit. So you can be grateful that somebody slapped me and a car didn't run me over.
Right.
Karma to wahi tha na. Karma to was that you will get hit by a man's hand or by a car. That is the difference. So
Very interesting. Very interesting.
being upbeat, life has so much to give and we have so much to do for this world, is the space to live in. Depression can't touch us, and even if it comes, it'll also become happy with us like that. Hey, ultimately you have to believe in some things. No, you cannot always, and not bad times come to everybody. Yaar. In the midst of all of these bad times, how can you lead from the front? How can you be upbeat? How can you be happy? Period. Short of the long.
No, that was very interesting conversation, Prasannaji, and
Thank you. Thank
thanks
you so
for
much.
uh, thanks for joining this Marichi talks. And I'm very sure that viewers will gain a lot of insights right from your childhood to how you pursued your job, the way you sort of responded to the situations, because most of the time people react to the situations, but you responded, and that's why you did very well in your professional career. And now when you move to giving back to the society, there also you are doing exceptional activities. And I read a lot of things from the net on the contribution. So definitely there is a team, but a lot of it depends on how they are being led, how they are being guided. So I think you've done a fantastic job. It was pleasure to have you here, and I am very sure that I'm going to apply a lot of things which you just spoke about, like being present in the moment, enjoy the present moment, do not worry about the future, do not regret about the past, have that sense of
Absolutely.
gratitude. We are living in an era where a lot of things are available which were not available maybe to our previous generations. So thank you so
Absolutely.
much. It was
Thank you
very
so much.
insightful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much for your time. Take care. Bye.